New season, new chaos in college football.
Let's go!
Big stage, big opportunity.
This Labor Day weekend, the wildness lives on ABC, ESPN, and the all-new ESPN app.
What a way to start!
Featuring top 10 teams like Clemson, Notre Dame, Alabama, and LSU, and Bill Belichick's debut at North Carolina.
It's so special when these teams collide.
Don't miss a lineup filled with electric matchups.
Welcome back to college football.
Kickoff week presented by Modelo. Labor Day weekend on ESPN and ABC. Also available to stream on the all-new ESPN app.
Hello and welcome to The Shift, the podcast that aims to tell the no-holds-barred truth about being a woman post-40. Created and hosted by me, writer and broadcaster Sam Baker. Now, you know this season was dedicated to helping you pick your summer reads, and summer's nearly over, but we won't let a little detail like that stop us. Anyway, so my guest today is the novelist Charlotte Mendelson, and her writing has been compared to late Shakespeare meets Modern Family. So you know where to turn if you're looking for a painfully funny, on-the-nose, maybe a little bit confronting look at the dynamics of love and marriage. Charlotte worked as a publisher for 20 years before becoming an award-winning novelist. She's written 7 best-selling novels, the most recent of which are The Exhibitionist and Wife, which are both out now in paperback. They're kind of a pair in that they both deal with the reality of being married to monsters. Charlotte gives good narcissist. She's also been gardening correspondent for The New Yorker and now writes for The Observer.
Basically, I love being by myself. I need loads of time by myself. I'm incredibly antisocial. I only like a few people, but I also can have a long chat with Mrs. Liggins on the bus.
I met Charlotte at home in North London to snoop around her houseplants and her bookshelves. She's got an amazing Iris Murdoch collection. Well, we discussed, it's chaos, but it's delightful chaos. We discussed how to go grey without looking like you were looking after chickens in the wood, the puberty midlife confluence, the disproportionate stress of deciding what to wear, the lifelong impact of growing up nerd, being a pre-internet lesbian, internalised homophobia, finding love as a grown-up, perimenopausal horniness, and so much more. This is a great flat, and it's not noisy. I thought you'd be noisy.
It's noisy when you get mad people shouting outside, which happens a lot. That side is wonderful because it's an
oasis.
Well, the thing is, there's a little tiny nursery, so you hear little children being weird, which is great. And so there are trees.
Nice, can I dunk?
Yeah, of course you can. Do you want a plate, though?
No, some people hate dunking.
No, you don't need to ask permission for dunking. It's your biscuit.
Brought up dunking.
I'm not a dunker, but I respect your dunking choice. Where did you grow up?
Andover. If you know Andover,
no, I don't.
Not comment.
I know of it, but I haven't.
You've driven past it on the A303.
Have I? Okay. Are you Irish though?
Way back.
Oh, really? Okay. I mean, your hair, your freckles. You surely are Irish.
Yeah. Well, thing is, I do look like my mum, but as a kid, because I was so ginger, I didn't really look like anyone in my family except for one of my cousins was really gingery as well.
Yeah, because people can't see past the hair. I spend my life being mistaken for other people with curly hair who I look nothing like just because it's like hair. Okay. Right. People are constantly saying to me, "Oh, I met you, you're William's sister," and I say, "No, I'm not." And they go, "No, you are." But the problem is I've also got no facial recognition, so I can't tell if we have met. So it's chaos, really. But yeah, I bet that happened with you all the time with red hair.
Well, I just mainly got... It's funny, actually, I just put a piece out on my Substack about this.
You're very lucky to have red hair.
Well, I think so now, but for the first 20 years of my life, I just wished every grown-up who told me how lucky I was would fuck off.
Yeah, of course.
Basically.
Yeah. I used to walk around like this because old ladies would pat my curls. I mean, yeah.
Did you have long or short hair when you started? When you started
as a human. Basically, I had red, but dark red.
Oh, I can see how
curls
your hair
like that.
Gone really dark.
No, I was always short hair.
And can I ask, do you dye?
No, it's very weird.
Amazing.
I know, but it's so amazing that any second, like every morning, I think I'm just going to go white. Yeah, I thought I'd be grey when I was at 22. It's a massive issue. So curly hair, when it goes grey, is a massive worry because I don't want to look like Angela Carter.
But my hair is curly. It just isn't because it's so long.
Oh,
it's
really?
So heavy.
It just
if it was
gravity.
shorter, it would be curvy.
But honestly, I don't want to look like a witch because I have witchy tendencies
so did
anyway.
you think Angela Carter looked like a witch?
Yes, and I wouldn't mind her talent, but I don't want her lifespan, and I don't want her hair.
Oh, no,
so it's a worry. I don't want to look like I'm looking after chickens in the woods, even though I would quite like to look after chickens. So it's how you do that. And so when I go greyer, I just don't know what to do, really. I think about this more than I should.
I know what you mean.
I'll probably just dye it.
See, I don't know. I debated dyeing it.
No, but yours looks good. And I love the way you've got the duotone thing going on.
Oh, of course. I mean, I literally do have two-tone hair.
Yeah, you do. But the way you had it just now really worked, because then it's kind of sort of silvery red, and then it's properly red. It's like basically you're a horse. You've got a brilliant mane, and your forelocks just slightly different.
I think we should do a podcast together all the time. It'd
hair.
Be so much more interesting.
Yeah. Hair with Sam and Charlotte.
We could do hair, and then we could just do
I'm obsessed
toenails or something.
Time. I'm obsessed with, if you have curly hair, or maybe very long hair, or maybe red hair, I don't know. Both. You just... So I could not give less of a fuck about, blusher. But I do stop strangers on trains and say, what do you use in your hair?
It's so funny because I literally did write about this yesterday, and I was talking to someone online last night, and they were like, I'm not going to spend, I don't care about Botox or any of that. I'm not going to spend a fortune on any of those things.
But conditioner.
Conditioner.
Yeah, conditioning masks. Yeah, no, it's a real thing.
So what do you use?
My pain. I'm quite a vader.
I don't find that can cope with the
your volume. You've got
quantity
but I get
of my hair.
Pints of the stuff. That's the thing.
And it's not cheap, is it?
And it's not cheap.
But why don't you want to look witchy?
No. I know most of me does want to look like an old woman looking after chickens in the wood, because that's where I want to be. My life is a constant battle between my inner 8-year-old and trying to look like a grown-up. So I know I have to not look like an old woman looking after her chickens in the wood all the time. Yeah? I have to sort of cosplay as a grown-up. But basically, I'm an 8-year-old, which is why I'm basically wearing a baby grow.
Well, we both are. You are basically wearing a baby grow, and I'm wearing my 10-year-old boy outfit, which I wear all the time. Have you always dressed the way you dressed, or have you got?
It's been a huge, huge slog to get here.
I am convinced that it's a midlife thing when you finally go. Well, for me, this is putting me on it. I got to a point, probably early 50s, where I just went, oh fuck it, fuck it. I'm just going to dress like me.
How old are you?
I'm 58. How old are you?
52.
52.
Well, my girlfriend told me this morning I'm 53. I'm not, I'm 52.
Well, the internet says you're 53.
I know, because I'm November.
Yeah.
But what did you dress like before?
Well,
wrap dresses.
Oh no, I've never worn a wrap dress.
What did you dress like?
But I was always trying to dress like I thought I should dress.
Like a woman.
And like a woman.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to be like a cool woman.
Were you a bit punky?
I was always quite gothy. I was gothy as a teenager, ginger goth. Let's not
ginger and over goth.
Yeah, and then I went to university. But I think
ginger goth,
I feel like midlife, you do reach a point where I don't know. I mean, I wanted to talk to you about this kind of like puberty, kind of midlife confluence, which
massively
I think they're
important.
the opposite.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
So did you tell me about coming into your look?
Well, my look is partly thanks to living in the era where you were allowed to wear a jumpsuit, age 52. So without, LF Marky, I'd be fucked. But I don't have a look, but if you were to say what would be your perfect outfit, this is it. I could wear this every day.
So bright blue jumpsuit.
Bright blue jumpsuit. A zip, that's it. Occasional wee panic, but basically it works beautifully.
Yeah, it's not wee friendly,
is it? It's not wee friendly. But the thing is, I have spent my entire life not knowing what to wear. I realised the other day, if I have a couple of shopping friends, they could choose 90% of my clothes, and I have free reign for the last 10%, I would be so happy. Because I don't know what to wear. I don't know what suits me. I'm afraid of looking like an idiot. Also, all I'm really interested in, as you can see from, are primary colours. If I could just wear red and blue forever, I would be very happy. So it's just, I don't know how to do it.
Primary colours, plants and iris murdoch.
But I'm not going to wear some, and food. I'm very shy about clothes. I don't know how to do it. The whole jumpsuit thing has helped a lot. It's like, okay, I like jumpsuits. I can wear jumpsuits. But because of my constant thing about looking like an 8-year-old boy, I don't know. I just find it very stressful. I find clothes incredibly stressful.
Yeah, no, I do too. And the idea, I mean, it's that you...
And it's the woman thing. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
It's the woman thing. It's that basically I was an unbelievably square child and teenager, had no idea how to be cool or attractive. Suddenly I was a lesbian. It's like, oh my God, what do lesbians wear? And then there's
I hate to say this, but jumpsuits, Charlotte.
Jumpsuits, I know. My mother always used to say, boiler suits and rainbow glasses. And the thing is that, then there was the long middle period where it's like, I don't want to, quote, look like a lesbian, but I am a lesbian. What the hell do I do? And then it's only been in the last tiny handful of years that I've thought, okay, I could be someone who wears what they want.
And you don't have to go to an office.
I don't have to go to an office, and that helps. I did for 20 years go to an office. But I am incredibly self-conscious and afraid of looking ridiculous. It's a sort of really disproportionate stress.
So you're having your photo taken this afternoon.
Yeah, I could just be sick at the thought of it.
But is it having your photo taken, or is it the fact that you don't know what to wear, or all of it, the whole experience?
The whole thing.
I felt
I
the
just
same.
want to be in a paper bag. You know.
Will they dress you up in lady clothes?
No, I've only had that a couple of times. I had it quite recently, but I got to choose of arrange the lady clothes, and at least I got to wear trousers. I mean, I do actually really love wearing dresses. Basically what I want is a baby grow, because if it's whether it's a dress or a jumpsuit, it's just one choice.
One thing, yeah.
And then if I can have bare feet, I'm not thinking about, I wear this all the time, and it's just like I don't have to worry about it.
I've got a lot of blue shirts and a lot of pairs of jeans, and that when I'm in Edinburgh, I just don't even think about it. I get up, I grab a shirt, I grab a pair of jeans that might vary depending on how fat I'm feeling.
Without wishing to sound ridiculous, every single day at the moment, it's a new revelation about, I can, blah, blah, blah. Yesterday, I realised that maybe the reason I'm, of course, in the whole, ADD question, thinking increasingly it's a miracle that I ever didn't realise I was, because I am such a perfect example.
You're an extrovert introvert, aren't you? Which is such an ADHD.
No, I think I'm a noisy introvert.
Introvert.
I love talking to people. Basically, I love being by myself. I need loads of time by myself. I'm incredibly antisocial. I only like a few people, but I also can have a long chat with Mrs. Miggins on the bus. So if I like someone, I can chat and chat and chat, and I love my friends. But otherwise, I just don't get it. I don't understand why anyone would want to just exchange very small talk. I can't do it. And I look very bored very, very quickly, and I try not to, but I can't make my face.
You're like me, you've got one of those faces.
Yeah, I just can't. So I simply can't be asked.
Sorry, I derailed you. You were saying about the ADHD thing.
My whole life so far has been trying to work out, is it okay to be me, but how embarrassing to be me. And just in the last, again, tiny handful of years, I've started to think, okay, maybe some of the things about me that I find really problematic are bearable. And maybe yesterday's revelation was, oh my God, they're why I'm a novelist, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, I would say I'm hitting, adolescence and self-knowledge quite hard, age 52. It's been really, really, really hard to get to grips with the sort of person I am, I think. And I think maybe more than some people find it. I feel like I should be cooler than I am, I know.
Why is that, do you think?
I think because I grew up as such a nerdy, peculiar child and was none of the things I wanted to be. And then I think the whole lesbian thing has been quite confusing.
I read a brilliant piece that you wrote about it this morning.
Was it the one about pre-internet lesbianism?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel so strongly about that. Becoming a lesbian with no way of finding out how to be one was a really big deal for me. But I think it's also just that I am very self-conscious, that I am incredibly enthusiastic and distractible and sort of brainy, but in very peculiar small ways and all sorts of things.
Do you come from a background and go to a school where brainy was a good thing or a bad thing?
Extremely mixed, I would say. So my father is incredibly brainy, and my school was pretty brainy. My main school was pretty brainy. But it also wasn't exactly praised. It was more just that, like I told someone yesterday, that if I came from third in the class, I hated myself. Third. It didn't occur to me that that was okay. It was more like the mere minimum for being an acceptable person was being a genius, which I think is growing up in North Oxford, which is full of weird geniuses.
And was basically. Did that come in your family, or did you feel like you'd let them down if you weren't first?
No, it was complicated. It was very complicated, but I was brainy, but it was almost more of a sort of impediment. Basically, I just wanted to be fancied by boys, and I wasn't.
Oh, same.
Yeah, But it worked out for you, girl.
But kids who look like us, like not
pretty and
not
blonde.
pretty little blondes. Yeah. I'm obsessed with
Were
this.
you not a pretty, not blonde? I bet you were pretty. I wasn't pretty. I was shocking.
When we finish, I'm going to show you
Can we exchange photos?
the thing I wrote yesterday. Because I actually do have loads of old photos.
Yeah.
My mum dug them out of the attic for a piece I wrote. I will show you what I looked like when I was... No,
and I will show you back. Because I was desperate. There's a famous, to me, photograph of me in... I mean, a shocking hairstyle because, what were you going to do with my hair when I was 10? Nobody knew. With those kind of NHS glasses with a bar across the top, which are now cool, but they really, really weren't in 1982. I'm wearing my free Nelson Mandela sweatshirt with binoculars around my neck and a little pair of silky Adidas football shorts. I mean, it was not an attractive look.
Well, maybe not, but it was it's a strong identity.
It's a strong look if you own it, but I didn't. It was a sort of, I don't know what to do.
Even brave enough to put any one of those things on when I was 10.
Rightly. But no, it was out of cluelessness and self-hatred. It wasn't out of, this is who I am. I've never been, until maybe in the last about 10 minutes, this is who I am. I wish I had been. What a waste of a life.
Do you know what changed? I mean, do you think it was literally hormones? Is it like life experience?
Mixture of life experience, extremely good therapy, life changes, I suppose, life event.
Yeah, because you do get to a point at this kind of, like I'm older than you, but this stage where you kind of, everybody's been through some shit.
Yeah.
Whether it's illness or divorce or kid related
both.
Or all of it.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, maybe that stuff doesn't,
Yeah.
I mean, I still might look in the mirror and like go, and pull at my flab around my middle, but
stop it.
It doesn't matter in the same way.
So much of it is about your priorities changing, but so much of it is also about, I think, love, if you're the sort of person who needs love. And it's about having survived some really shit stuff. And in my case, because I'm extremely suggestible and need a lot of advice, it's, having friends, having a therapist, having a partner who tell me stuff that really helps. Whereas for the first many years, I was working it out for myself and not very successfully. So it's a sort of cumulative thing for me, just trying to work out how to be a person.
This episode of The Shift is sponsored by Shopify. When I think back to starting The Shift, I can hardly believe I pulled it off. I mean, I knew nothing. And I had to figure it all out on my own. Scripts, scheduling, branding. When you're starting something new, it can seem like every time you tick something off your to-do list, 2 more things magically appear in their place. So finding a tool that simplifies the whole process can be a real game changer. For millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world. From household names like Heinz to Allbirds and Skims. Get started with your own design studio. With hundreds of ready-to-use templates, Shopify will help you build an online store to match your brand style. Accelerate your content creation. Shopify is packed with helpful tools to write product descriptions, headlines, and enhance product photography. Get the word out like you actually have a marketing team to create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from inventory to international shipping, to processing returns, you name it. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into... With Shopify on your side. Sign up for your £1 a month trial at shopify.co.uk/shift. Go to shopify.co.uk/shift. So you mentioned earlier, we touched on the kind of like the pre-internet, being a pre-internet lesbian. How did you navigate that?
I don't know. I mean, it just sort of happened.
Go and hang out at the Silver Moon bookshop?
No, I was terrified. It sort of happened unto me. So in Wife, that is a big part of what Wife is about, is being the sort of lesbian that I was then, before the sort that one would be now. Okay, so I really wanted to describe that lack of community, lack of knowledge, lack of certainty, lack of self-belief, lack of fun, lack of sort of positive, just that help. what do I do? So that is the kind of lesbian I was. I was much too frightened to go to Silver Moon. I once shyly managed to go and have a cup of coffee in a gay cafe in Soho, feeling kind of reeking with self-consciousness.
So none of your friends were lesbians?
None of them. Hardly any of my friends still are lesbians. I mean, honestly, in fact, really, almost none of my friends. I'm struggling to think of one. So, no. But it's not that I wanted to pretend I wasn't. I've always been very luckily in a world where I could be out. But I just had no idea how to do it. So that was complicated. So I have felt a lot of my life that I'm pretending to be a woman. I'm pretending to be a sophisticated person. I'm pretending to be a novelist. I'm pretending to be... And it's not exactly imposter syndrome. It's more self-doubt, which is different somehow. I mean, I know that doesn't sound different, but I think it is different. I was thinking this morning, I'm a weird mixture of incredibly confident and incredibly insecure.
Yeah,
and I think,
it's interesting.
I think the confidence is where I haven't noticed I should be insecure, and insecure is everything else.
Well, the insecure...
Like, I know I'm clever. I didn't know that for a while.
But that was the insecurity then speaking through, saying the confidence is only because I don't know I shouldn't be.
Exactly. Sorry. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's cultural, it's to do with how we're parented, it's where we grew up, it's where we are in the family, it's all
Where are
stuff.
you in the family?
I'm the elder of two girls. What about you?
I'm the eldest, and I've got a little brother.
So you're the elder of two as well?
Yeah.
I
think there's a lot to be said for being the eldest and being a girl. Yeah.
Oh, do you? That is fascinating. Oh my God, we have to have a whole separate conversation.
You should also listen to the episode with Maggie Smith, poet.
Okay.
And we talked about like her first daughter energy a lot. And then
oh my God, I need that. See, that could be my new thing, is then I'll own that. But no, I have felt my entire life that being an elder child has blighted me to a life of sort of conscientious, grown-up pleasing, anxiety and shame.
Yes.
Whereas if you're younger, I think it's the younger ones who have the energy. The younger ones are the, like, yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, look, I'm going to do a handstand.
Yeah. I mean, I know some younger children who feel like their elder siblings got all the attention, and by the time their parents got to them, they were just bored and they just let them get on with it. But from an elder child's perspective, you're just like, yeah, but you had all the freedom.
Yeah, I would have thought you were younger because you have cools. I don't have cools. I think if you're older, like, you're cool. I don't think it's possible to be an elder child and be cool. I mean, there might be one or two in the sort of archives of Radio 1, but I don't. I've decided, actually, this is one of the things that has helped me come to terms with me. I spent so much of my life being unbelievably uncool. I decided in the last maybe decade that I'm so uncool. I'm cool. It's like a full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm going with.
From afar, I've always thought of you as very like successful, self-contained. I don't know whether I would say cool, but I wouldn't not say cool.
Oh, well, bless your heart. No. I mean, thanks. I'd like to be, but Jesus, I mean, cool. I can't begin to convey the damage that an unbelievably square adolescence has done, I think.
Oh, no, I know what you mean.
Well,
really? I'll show you the photos, the hair. Oh, my God. Yeah.
Also, I've got my funny voice. I mean, the combination of the funny voice...
What's wrong with your voice?
I sound like a pre-war BBC announcer. I sound like a posh school boy, and I'm not posh. I'm not at school.
Are you not posh? I thought you were posh.
No, you see, this is the voice, the curse of the voice. I'm not posh, but I sound posh. And it depends on what you mean by posh too. So I get into this conversation much too deeply. Basically, because of where I grew up, because of the education I had, and because of my job, I realised that puts me in the category of posh. But my parents, both the children of extremely poor immigrants, my father is completely a kind of bootstrapped scholarship boy, but then obviously he's put me in a category of being much more middle class. But also I'm Jewish, which I think puts, except for maybe about 2 families in the world, puts you in a category of you're not posh because you're a dirty immigrant, basically. Also, I'm from an academic-ish family, which is another sort of side thing.
Yeah,
I'm not posh by English standards at all. I'm just a particular
academia
thing.
Is weird, isn't it? Because it's a sort of it makes you're probably broke, but it still puts you in a class over there, instead, not a kind of...
It's a kind of weird thing. And also, exactly, I'm a novelist. It's not like I'm rolling in cash. So, exactly. So, I even have a car. I'd love a car, but it's just expensive.
You need one for your allotment.
I need one for my allotment. But that's the thing. So compared to an awful lot of people, I'm unbelievably well off. Compared to a lot of people doing the same sorts of thing as me, I'm hilariously broke. But people assume I'm posh because of my job and my accent, and because I grew up in Oxford. And I don't like posh. I especially don't like English posh. So I'm always trying to explain much too detailedly why I'm not posh. And people go, yeah, but you are really, and then I just get annoyed.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, I won't say yeah, but you are really.
Please don't. No, it'll be right. Do you want some more coffee?
Oh yeah, if there is some, thank you. This is great coffee.
I care a lot about coffee, but not in a sort of, hello, I'm a man and I'm going to do my AeroPress thing. I just like cafetières. And I don't understand why everyone doesn't do cafetières.
No, well, I'm so happy that you said that because I love a cafetière too. And I think there's like, everybody looks down on that now.
Yes.
And that's a really nice cafetière. Where's it from? It's yellow with a wooden lid, like yellow ceramic, is it?
It's actually very posh. It was a present years ago, and I've only just managed to keep it alive. As you can see, it's increasingly suffering.
Chipped. Yeah, it's very nice.
It's on its way out.
Very nice. Earlier, when we were talking about how you started to grow into yourself, you said about love.
Yes, love.
Which you're probably going to regret now. So you got divorced in your 40s? I
got divorced. I mean, it depends. I always think it's interesting when people say, when did you get divorced? It's like, well, when did we date it from?
Yeah, so separated, I guess.
I got separated at the beginning of 2018. And 2 years later, I moved in here. So let's say I got divorced 7 years ago, roughly. So
did the kids, because they're young adults, are they now?
They are, yeah.
Do they live with you? Are they at university? Are they between you? Or is that too difficult?
So my son is trained to be a chef.
Excellent.
But I'm very proud of that.
Is he the youngest?
No, he's the elder one. So he's not doing the kind of, I'm going on the cookery course. He's actually properly learned to cook in proper pub kitchens. And my daughter is, I always used to say, just don't be a writer.
Oh my God,
she's not just a bloody writer, she's a poet. She's so good, even I can tell she's good.
Yeah, so you went through basically a period of big upheaval pre-lockdown, mid-40s.
Well, lockdown was when things started. Well, no, not really. Lockdown was when things probably started calming down a bit. But
you were in here by then.
I was just in here, thank God.
Thank God.
Thank God. But no, the years before that were hairy.
So basically, in 5 years, you've really changed in yourself a lot. So tell me about that. And tell me about being back out there.
Back out there. Well, I was only back out there for about 10 minutes, to be honest. But
well done.
I know. Good. Well, no luck, pure luck. So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about, in terms of this podcast, that because I remember listening to one of the people you interviewed. What were the points of change in your life? And I've been thinking, there have been so many in my life, maybe more than normal. I don't know. I feel that sort of becoming lesbian, maybe having children, was massive.
Did you have them? Sorry if that's not personal.
No, I gave birth to my daughter. My ex gave birth to our son, and they have 2 dads as well. So, and that was an incredibly complicated situation because it's complicated having children with one person, let alone with 4.
Yeah.
And then and again, this is one of the things I wrote about in Wife, that parenting is just complicated, and then having a quote modern family is so complicated in ways that people can't even begin to imagine. Anyway, sorry, just the change thing. So there was all that, but then various kind of big health things, and then divorce, and then I don't know. I feel like I'm constantly having these big changes, but they're cumulative somehow. I feel that the person I am now is so indivisibly a product of those changes rather than, maybe that's normal, but those books that people used to have in childhood where it's like an alligator's head and a clown's middle?
Oh, yes.
I don't feel like that. I feel like I'm a kind of weird mixture. I don't feel like there's the before and after. There's the after and after and after and after and after. And it's just, I hope I've had enough changes, really.
I think you've had your share.
I'm knackered.
Yeah.
But I also think, God, I absolutely wouldn't swap any of those. I'm so glad I'm at the stage I'm at now.
Yeah, I love
it's so much better.
being in my 50s.
Yeah.
So you were back out there for 10 minutes.
I was more like 9, actually. So I was technically back out there for 2 years, but
Was it daunting?
I cannot tell you how frightening it was, because I genuinely thought no one will ever fancy me. Even if anyone does fancy me, I probably won't fancy them. Because again, I don't understand what lesbians are. Either they're kind of extremely womanly or they're extremely butch, and I don't think I fancy it either. So I don't know where that leaves me. There should be another kind, but I've never met one, is what I was thinking. I spent a lot of time discussing with everyone I knew the fact that it was a disaster and I didn't know any lesbians and I would never find love again. Eventually what happened was, I did have a girlfriend, then we split up, then the only lesbian I knew, who was about 25, said, oh, for God's sake, and put me on the apps. And
oh my God,
I cannot tell you how daunting that was. And I didn't even know what you do, physically how you do it. the swiping.
I only know because everybody talks about the swiping left or right or whatever, but I wouldn't have a clue.
And also, I can't tell my left from my right, so that's obviously quite perilous.
Oh my God!
But I know.
Shit. No.
Yeah, exactly. Unswipe. So, but I was incredibly lucky, and my girlfriend is the only person I met. Although I did have a hilarious interaction with someone who told me off for saying, "Oh, I don't really know what I'm doing on here." I was like, "Well, I don't think that's very attractive." So I almost went off the apps. Luckily, I stayed on, and I started chatting to my girlfriend, and 5 years later, here we are.
Well,
She's brilliant. Happy. I do feel like I've had a second chance. It's wonderful. I feel so lucky.
You do seem, it's interesting that now, I mean, you're very animated and talker anyway, but as you've been talking about that and you've got kind of like glowing and you look really happy.
Yeah, because the thing is that I'm not, I met my ex when I was just 25. I was a baby. I mean, I really was a baby.
God, were you that young?
I was so young.
Kind of
and we had our children young. Yeah, but I was also really young. I didn't...
You'd only been out a couple of years then.
I'd only been out a couple of years, but also I just had no experience of anything except my inner world. I was barely born, whereas I'm really born now. And so meeting my partner meant that we were both grown-ups and we knew ourselves, that we knew what we actually wanted and needed rather than things happening. It's a completely different experience meeting someone as a grown-up. There's this Peggy Lee song, or Peggy Lee sings the song the second time around, and I'm not going to sing because I can't, but she says, "Love is lovelier with both feet on the ground." And the thing is that my feet are frequently off the ground, but she's the person for me. She's the right person for me because we're right for each other.
That's lovely.
I know. Thank fuck. Because obviously otherwise I'd be single and sad and I'd never meet anyone. Yeah, exactly. So I do feel like, oh my God, I found the one.
Oh, that's so heartening.
I know. It is heartening. I do feel that I'm incredibly lucky, and I want people to know that you can get divorced and think no one will ever fancy you again. It's a disaster. But actually you will find someone who's right for you.
Because your marriage was quite public, wasn't it? You were both, I mean, public in a literary...
In a who gives a toss.
I saw you described as a literary power couple.
I know, which is a very small category.
Yeah, very small
category. We were just both novelists. That was all.
Yeah, it just means that a few people in a little postcode of London know who you are.
I know, exactly.
But is there an element of this is just your life as opposed to that being slightly more public, or did you not feel that?
It was mainly public, I think, because it felt like being out lesbians was still quite unusual.
Like you said in your piece, George Michael wasn't even out then.
No, I mean, Jesus, he was just driving into Snappy Snaps, poor George. But poor George. I think the thing is that being out and then having a family, there was this huge pressure to be for it all to be good and happy. And it was very public that we were having children and things. I mean, I don't mean famous. I mean, just among the people who knew us, we were lesbians having children.
Well, I didn't know. I mean, I knew of you. I didn't know you, but I knew when you were having children.
Exactly. And that means then that there's pressure for it to be good and happy and for the relationship to work and all those kind of things.
And that level of complication, it doesn't exist in this. For lots of reasons, actually.
Well, there's other complication, of course.
I'm sure,
like the kind of whole, my daughter calls her flatmate,
Oh, right.
So, but it's more that, we're both divorced, we're both grown-ups, we've both chosen each other, we both are more comfortable in ourselves, and also I do think that getting to meet someone and be with someone and not having to raise a family together makes life much easier because it's such a pressure. That writer Alice Thomas Ellis said, "A baby is a hand grenade thrown into a marriage." I think it was her. It bloody is. I mean, let alone two babies, let alone into a sort of four-way marriage.
Yeah, marriage where two other people get to say. And I know there are lots of divorces where there are lots of people who have opinions.
It's complicated.
I wanted to ask you what you think about midlife lesbians, like not born again, more so much
late onset. Late onset lesbians.
Late onset.
It's a fascinating subject. In my books, I quite often have people suddenly having lesbian affairs because I think it happens quite a lot.
Yeah.
And so one of the very interesting things I think about being at the age we're at is it's that combination of, so it's the estrogen cliff as described by Miranda July, but it's also giving less of a fuck. And it's also what a friend of mine who you've interviewed actually, Kate Muir, the menopause warrior, describes as sort of perimenopausal horniness. So there's just chaos. It's a brilliant time of chaos. And obviously this is a grotesque generalization, but I think what happens is people have a drop in estrogen, so they maybe are a bit less, oh, I must do everything for my lovely husband and children.
Oh, yeah, no, I really agree.
And they get frisky.
Don't give a fuck hormone.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck, yeah. And they maybe get frisky. They're thinking, okay, I've only got, I don't want to be old and never have sex again when I'm whatever, 50 or 60 or whatever. And then, because I think a lot of us do have sort of, we fall in love with our female friends and don't want to have sex with them. But then maybe more people think, oh, actually, I wonder if I could snog so-and-so, whatever. Think something happens. So we're much freer to act on it than we were when we were 20, if we even noticed it. Obviously, that doesn't apply to people now. But our age, it is. I'm not a late onset lesbian, but I was late in that I was 23 when it happened. And I was totally heterosexual before. Not very successful, but, theoretically, totally heterosexual. So I've always felt that by the grace of God, I'm not a late onset lesbian, as in I always thought I could have married a man and then age 40 something, I'd have fallen in love with a woman and then chaos.
I mean, it's very common for me to interview women who say, I've got no intent. I don't want to divorce my husband. But if something happened and we were divorced or, we weren't together anymore, it could be a woman or a man, or I'm not really interested in, marriage. The heterosexual marriage is a particular turn-off.
It is quite hard to imagine being a straight woman and thinking, oh, yes, I'll marry another man now. Whereas, the thing is, I am really domestic, emotional, and I love being, I suppose I am technically a serial monogamist, but I love being in a couple, actually. I thought, so when the thing about, I was on the team for 10 minutes, I thought, this is great, I'm alone, I will have time, I will spend at least 6 months getting to know myself, understanding the kind of person I'm looking for, I will grow as a person. Bollocks to that, within 5 or 6 seconds. Please.
Alongside my plan.
I just want love. But then if you find good love, you're not going to go, no, I shun you, I'm going to grow alone. So basically what I'm saying is, I think it makes so much sense that people become lesbians. People who've been married to a man for 30 years and then suddenly fall in love with their best friend or the postmistress makes total sense. Yeah. And as a narrative device, obviously I love it. But also it's just, what could be bad about suddenly having hot sex and hand-holding with someone again?
Yeah.
I mean, it's brilliant.
Without, as you say, the kind of...
I'm off to Gerald's accountancy dinners.
And that kind of this imperative in the biological imperative that some people have and some people don't to, have kids and then do an awful lot of washing and cooking.
Although I would say, though, just to be clear, that I think late onset lesbianism, the key of the happiness isn't the lesbianism, it's the late onset. So I am, that's what Wife's about. That's what, just Wife actually, so far. But, gay relationships can be terrible too. I don't think the reason people are happy if they're happy in late onset lesbian relationships is because they've suddenly realised that they can hold hands with a lady. I think it's because they're old enough to have chosen the right person.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So I don't want to glamorise the idea of and honestly, you would not believe, this is again a wife thing. This is the number of people who said, I'm so lucky, I've always wanted a wife. Well, not quite that straightforward.
Are you saying that you just always wanted to be the man and not do any housework?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, which is...
And actually, how lovely, but that's,
That's not how it works.
That's not quite what it involves. Because people are complicated. Relationships are complicated.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because there's so much talk about the fact that, when I was writing The Shift, I found a load of research about the fact that women in heterosexual relationships are the least happy, the least satisfied in life. Yeah. And men in gay relationships, the most satisfied. So it's all to do with the mental load and the domestic responsibility and everything. But I think that, obviously that's a massive generalization. I do know a load of straight women who earn money and do all the domestic. But I'm sure that there are loads of lesbians and loads of gay men who are like, hang on, I'm fucking sick of picking up your socks.
And even apart from that, people are blinded by people who aren't bigots are blinded by what they think a gay relationship must be like. They think it's about equality, but there's no such thing. Even if you share the domestic load, which I think is a lot, and the emotional load, which I think is a lot more likely in a gay relationship than a straight relationship because of society and blah, 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 there won't be parity in terms of other kinds of power, I think, unless you're lucky. And that's, I suppose, what I'm saying, is that you have to be quite a grown-up to find true equality. Otherwise, you can easily think, oh, how wonderful, you've chosen me, hooray.
Yeah, I think...
And I think as girls, we're raised to think someone will fall in love with us and choose us.
Yeah.
And that's a recipe of misery, really.
That's the holy grail, isn't it?
To be chosen. Whereas actually choosing is where the fun is.
Yeah.
And I feel that whenever I meet a woman who's like me, who's had a second chance, who has found love the second time around, this is the thing that we're grinning at each other about. It's not just all the other things that are great. It's that we've chosen this. We've both chosen each other rather than one has submitted to what they think they need to be and da-di-da.
Yeah, less. And again, this massive generalization. But I think that might be to do with being the kind of like kid that I was, but like, not popular, like to go back to what we're talking. Yeah, not popular, not pretty, not blonde, all of those things. And almost kind of being grateful when I remember the first time somebody asked me out and I didn't fancy him. And I was a bit like, oh, but I know that he's popular.
I should want to.
I should, so I will.
But I've only just reached that stage.
I wouldn't do that now.
Yeah,
God.
It's very, very, very bad that. It really screws everything up, doesn't it?
Yeah. Are you better at saying no now in any context?
Somewhat.
Or yes, if you want to.
Yeah, maybe. I think I am, I think I am because I don't need as much. I can want rather than need,
And do you feel... That's interesting. I saw someone saying, I can't remember what it was, because I read so much random stuff, that middle-aged women aren't allowed to want. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think it is true, but I bloody want all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky. I'm really lucky, I think, because, and I don't mean like celebrities say, I'm very blessed that, I genuinely think I'm incredibly lucky. I have a fantastic girlfriend. My kids are okay. I have a peculiar primary colours flat, and my job is
in a nice part of North London with a garden
on a terrible street. There's a man who most days gets off the bus in the mid-afternoon, right opposite my study, has a piss in the phone box that I can see directly, and then goes up to his flat. Yeah, what? I'm sorry, sir.
So hasn't he got a loo in his flat?
He's got a loo because they're nice flats. But what's with the piss?
That that's
I
mad.
know. No, there's a lot of unusualness on the street, but but I have the privilege of choice. But I also, it's been bloody hard won as well. And yes, I know I'm financially, socially incredibly lucky, but there's been hard stuff. There really has, loads of it. I think on the one hand, I want all the time. Why should I stop wanting? I feel almost like it's the first time I'm allowed to have free will.
Yeah, I think, I really agree with that. Yeah, because I really think when I saw it, that comment, I thought, well, I do agree with it because I feel like, socially, middle-aged women aren't allowed to want. They're not really allowed to exist.
No, exactly. So I'm so sorry. I'll just move my shopping bag so you can manspread. Of course. But we... And we're privileged, but we can want.
Yeah, I feel like I want more.
Yeah,
and I feel more relaxed, confident, something
entitled
about us. Yeah, more entitled to want, and I'm prepared to say that I want.
Yeah, and I do think that being a lesbian is a massive privilege in lots of ways because it means I am therefore slightly other. So maybe things are slightly differently expected of me, but it also means. Like when people talk about the male gaze, I've never had the male gaze. Even when I was straight, I didn't get the male gaze. I've certainly never been a sort of pretty thing who now the male gaze has been withdrawn from, now I'm middle-aged, because I never had it.
But did you still, I get that, but did you internally, you wanted it. See, I feel like the same. I feel like now I feel quite fine about the fact that I haven't really got it, and I never really had it, but I really used to want it.
I don't believe you. I bet you did have it. I bet you were. Also, I'm looking forward to seeing the photo because I bet you were pretty.
Oh, I'm going to show you. I was like
we're going to have a minger off.
A little minger off. Yeah, I'm more minger than you, definitely.
I think you'll be amazed. But I think in a funny way, and I would never have thought this for a long time, not being in need of the male gaze is brilliant. It's not what a relief not to have it anymore. It's I really don't care. But I also would like to be attractive. That's the problem too. So it's almost like now, age 52, I want to be attractive. I'm scared of not being. But it's like I'm only attractive if you fancy curly-haired, enthusiastic people wearing primary colours. So I'm quite a niche choice, I suppose. I don't know. It's complicated.
That whole much discussed invisibility thing that is ultimately completely linked to the male gaze. Do you feel it or not?
I've always felt
you've always
invisible, I suppose. And I sort of still do. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I realise that also, probably for a lot of women you interview, it's all to do with hormones as well. But I had a hysterectomy and I'm on HRT.
When do you have a hysterectomy?
Well, I thought it was a couple of years ago. I looked it up. It was 4 years ago.
That's what time does when you hit this old.
So I think I had a kind of long perimenopausal thing, but not the estrogen cliff because I am on HRT. So there isn't that element to factor in.
Well, you kind of did have it because you had the hysterectomy, but yeah.
Vitamin Water Zero Sugar has great taste, zero BS, and obviously zero sugar. For those with zero room in their calendar, zero patience for slow walkers, those who get 0 hours of sleep on a Saturday night, have zero filter, zero given, and zero interest in grabbing a plain, boring water. Grab a delicious Vitamin Water Zero Sugar today.
I read that you said that Wife was the darkest, queerest novel you'd ever dared to write.
Yeah, and dare is really the word.
Because did it feel like a dare when you were writing it?
Massively. I mean, kind of most of my books have, actually, for different reasons. Because The Exhibitionist being about marriage and a marriage that looks great but isn't really, and then this woman having this hot lesbian affair and her daughter not being in love with the man who sort of thinks he's engaged to her. All of that felt very daring too. But no, Wife was terrifying because it's about, one of the things that led to it was that a friend, in fact, the friends who put me on the apps, said, we just haven't had a book about lesbians just being normal. It's either they're kind of tweedy or it's titillating. And I thought about that for a long time. Eventually I thought, I'm going to write a book about what it's like being a lesbian who gets married to another woman and has children with another woman, because if I can't do that, who can? I am very luckily in a very small category of lesbians who have done that and a novelist. So I'm going to bloody do it. But it felt incredibly bold and frightening.
Was that partly because you thought people would assume it was autobiographical?
Yes, and of course people do assume that, and of course they assume that with all my books and
with all books women write, basically.
Every book a woman has ever written in the history of So, Lady Julian of Norwich.
Yeah.
Is this based on you? Also, I think I have a lot of internalized homophobia. It felt like a kind of whole new level of being out, writing a book about what it's like being lesbians. And also, obviously, there was all the non-lesbians won't want to read it because it's about lesbians, and all the lesbians will hate it because it's about the wrong kind of lesbians. All of that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a scary, scary book to write, but it was also the quickest novel I've written. So the one before, The Exhibitionist, took 9 years.
Did it? Oh, my God.
Life events, basically. But it was also really hard to write. Whereas Wife, once I'd worked out the structure, which was this kind of complicated but made total sense to me.
An entire life.
An entire life first with the day she leaves.
Yeah.
The day will she leave.
It works really well.
Thank you. Quite a lot of people have said they found it incredibly tense to read, but I didn't intend that.
It is tense.
I wanted it to be compelling. But I suppose it is tense because you're hoping, oh God, please get out. But it was difficult because I didn't want to write a novel where it was about, this is relevant to this, because I didn't want to write a book about a marriage that's linear, where we know the marriage is going to go wrong, because that's not inherently terribly interesting. And it's also normal in our normal lives. Well, I think the stage we're at now is, why did it go wrong? So many people are divorced or whatever. Why did it go wrong? So one of the things I mainly wanted to think about was, what were the rumbles of disaster kind of the day they meet? Because now we have the wisdom or whatever to see what we were like when we were that age. And that's what I wanted to do in the novel, to say, okay, here's Zoe, this is what she thinks she is. And now, 20 years later, middle age, I suppose, she can see how naive and things she was. Does that make sense? So it's a sort of grown-up writing about a young person.
Another thing I thought was interesting about it, because you wrote Ray, the main character, the exhibitionist of the exhibitionist.
The central character. The central arse.
Yeah. And then, the central arse of Wife is Penny.
I do seem to be quite good at central arses, don't I? I need to move on from the arses.
You're very good at writing narcissists.
Yeah.
But what I noticed was that Ray, who is vile, is a kind of character who is liked by, and I'm online in the review world in there, and Penny is loathed. And
not by her friends.
No, I mean in the review world, like of the critics, the readers. Is it as basic as Penny's a woman and she's horrible, so therefore, and Ray's a man and that's okay?
No, it's not. I think in the writing, in the novels, I wanted to show the charisma of Ray, the people who still think he's great. And I think that is to do with him being a man. But no, I mean, that's a very interesting thing, and I hadn't noticed that. But it's because the influence of Penny on Zoe is so destructive.
So malign,
whereas
isn't it?
Ray, with Lucia and Ray in The Exhibitionist, Lucia is escaping. They're sort of women at different evolutionary stages, in a way. Zoe is still so in the thick of it. She can't really see what's happening. It's just we, the readers, can see what's happening.
Yeah.
And I, the writer, can make it be happening. And Lucy is having hot sex, at least.
You're with Lucy. I think that's the thing, is you're with Lucia as she's discovering, whereas Zoe is looking back on herself.
Zoe's looking back on herself, or is in the awfulness. And I think I really wanted with Penny to show a character who would be incredibly compelling to young Zoe, but is also, I mean, it's really a novel about coercive control. It's just that because they're lesbians, it's not really identified as such.
That's a good point. So you've done your darkest, queerest novel. What's next?
Obviously, a very happy straight novel. No. What's next?
I don't think you could.
I couldn't. A, because I'm really interested in queeritude. B, but I'm interested because of the sort of person, because of the life I've had, I suppose. I'm interested in queerness and straightness together rather than just one. I have been thinking, okay, how do I write a novel if I'm happy with my girlfriend?
I was going to say,
it's okay. There's always
sorts
of stress. Yeah, there's plenty. Happiness writes white, but there's a lot of other stuff. One of the things I love writing about is sexual frustration and longing and desire and the sort of activation that I think happens to a lot of women in their 40s, the perimenopausal chaos, whatever. So I think it's going to be quite a frisky book, but not with sex scenes, because my editor won't let me write sex scenes. Whenever I try and, as it were, slip one past her, she basically cuts it. But that's cool. Why? Because I think sex scenes are really unsexy.
Yeah,
whereas what's in our imagination is sexy, and that's one of the things I want to write about.
Stopping at the bedroom door.
Stopping at the bedroom. No, I prefer to stop just after, from the inside, the bedroom door is just shut. A little bit further. Yeah, I'm very interested in desire.
Right, I'm going to ask you the questions I always ask.
Okay.
What's your emotional age?
Well, absolutely without question, 8 in some ways. I'm 8 in almost all ways, but I feel that there's a caveat, which is I feel that I have hauled myself to the emotional age of a reasonably, well, not very well-adjusted, but a kind of much happier than I might have been 30-year-old, say. I feel I'm 30 in emotional stability age, but 8 really in all other respects, without question.
I love that. It's not uncommon for people to say that they're very young.
Yeah. I mean, of course.
Okay, give us a book recommendation. So it can be something recent that you've loved, or it can be like we're surrounded by Iris Murdoch.
Yeah, we are.
In here. You've got an amazing collection of Iris Murdoch, can I say? Incredible editions.
Thank you. Well, they are They are. I collect Iris Murdoch first editions. I've almost, but not quite, got a full set.
You might want to check when I've left.
I'm going to frisk you. Or Bear might frisk your bag. But so that is a completely impossible question because I spend my life passionately recommending books to people. I cannot. The most recent one that I've loved, or the one I always. There are just thousands. I think if I were to, probably the most life-enhancing suggestion I can make is the Charlotte Chronicles. Have you read it?
Yeah, but a long time ago.
Okay, totally reread. Okay, so it's 5 big fat books. People underrate it because she was a middle-class woman.
It's Elizabeth Jane Howard.
She also wrote one of the fruitiest, most disinhibited memoirs you will ever read. It's amazing. It's all like fucking Kingsley. And it's brilliant about some of the things I'm interested in, as in kind of marriage, being married to someone doing the same sort of thing as you, No visible lesbianism, but you never know. She was quite frisky. But the Caslett's are fantastic because she is astounding at inhabiting the inner lives of very different characters. And they're all completely convincing. And she's so unbelievably good at showing both inner lives and external details. I think the Charlotte Chronicles are genuinely one of the greatest sort of collectively novels. People do not take them seriously enough. I think they are totally genius. So I would say those.
What advice would you give younger women?
Me as a younger woman, it would be, take this, it's my therapist's phone number.
Yeah.
Younger women, I'd say get a therapist if you possibly can and make sure they're a really good one. But I'd also say the things that you hate about yourself are not actually objectively bad. You've just been brought up to think that.
That's really true. God, and how different would life be if you could somehow have absorbed that when you were about 15 Christ. Or younger?
Yeah, 8.
Yeah, back to 8.
6 probably in my case, honestly, yeah.
Who's your old bird role model?
Yeah, that is really difficult. I've realised I've spent my whole life kind of hurling myself at potential role models. I just want to be told how to be. The closest I've got to a role model is my grandmother, actually, who was this absolute dude. She was really clever, really funny, really fierce, really brave. She was so brave, so much braver than me. She was a refugee, so brilliant in so many ways. One of the things about her is she had an extremely strong Hungarian accent. So there are so many words I think of with her accent. She always used to say things like, darling, why do you not want to be pretty? Which is arguably why I'm in this mess in the first place. But she was actually lovely. And it's her courage. Okay, so in fact, I realised that on my desk, I have 2 pictures. And one is this picture of Iris Murdoch and one is my grandmother. And my grandmother in her 70s. She was a widow and she thought, I have never been to Egypt. So off she went to Egypt by herself and she brought me this bag, which is just a kind of hollow silver bangle, but I wear it every day to remind me of her, to try and be brave. Properly, genuinely brave. Not just like, be brave. Not be brave in my choice of scented candle. be actually properly brave. So
that's brilliant.
Does that count?
Yes.
Or do you need a famous person?
No.
I'd love to say,
No.
Whatever. Okay.
No, she's great. What's your superpower? Do you know what? I've asked these questions about 280 times and I still have to look at them.
Yeah.
To remember them.
I would be the same. I have no memory. I would be invisible because I'm interested I want to be able to hear people's conversations. I am unexpectedly strong for someone who spends their life reading novels.
Physically strong?
Physically strong.
Do you do a lot of exercise?
No, I just read novels. I can also spit cherry stones really far. I'm really good at plucking really eyebrows.
Good. Well, those are worth having.
Arguably. But I would love to say I can, heal with a touch or I can sing. I'd love to, I can't. But plucking eyebrows is it's my only practical transferable skill.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I would love it if I could do something really actually properly cool. What's the coolest one you've ever heard?
God, I don't know. I can't remember. One that sticks in my mind, I don't know why, is Tracy Thorne saying that her superpower was being able to get all the elements for Sunday roast on the table at the same time.
Well, that would be fucking brilliant. I'd love that.
It's pretty good. So that probably says more about me than her, though, because I'm such a terrible cook that I was just like, wow.
Yeah, wow. I can't think of anything that is genuinely impressive. The cherry stones only gets you so far.
Louise Minchin had something really practical, like she'd done serious grown-up first aid courses, and so she could
save a life.
If you needed CPR or whatever, she could save your life.
Well, I think I could do an emergency tracheotomy because I've seen ER twice and Grey's Anatomy once, and so I think I am basically a qualified medic and with a biro, but obviously I would get it in your eye.
I am nowhere near you if I ever need an emergency tracheostomy.
Do you know what? Just the other day I was walking down the street thinking, but I can't remember, is it the outside of the biro or the inner tube?
Yeah, all right, moving on. How many fucks do you give?
Well, I've said a lot of fucks, haven't I? I think I still give far too many fucks, but I'm giving fewer, and about some things I give not even a fraction of a fuck. I think if I have to give a number, I'd say about 356 fucks.
Yeah. That's a lot.
It's a lot of fucks.
To go.
I mean, I give a lot of fucks. You couldn't be me and not give a lot of fucks, but I probably originally gave about 1,000 fucks, so I think we're doing well.
So you're doing...
The fuckometer is going downhill.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoy The Shift and would like to show your appreciation, why not buy me a coffee? Go to www.buymeacoffee.com/The Shift with Sam Baker. You can hear a new episode of The Shift every Tuesday, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you like what you hear, please do rate, review, follow, tell your friends, because it really does help other people find us. And if you'd like to know more about my own experience of shifting, my book, The Shift, How I Lost and Found Myself After 40, and you can too, is out now in paperback.